Okay, so you shared this article with me about the new Captain America movie, Brave New World, and honestly, a president turning into a Hulk?
Yeah,
You had me at president,
right.
but we're going to go way deeper than just the plot points here.
Sure.
We're going to be looking behind the scenes,
Okay.
exploring what makes this film tick,
Oh, right.
like how it uses this crazy new super metal to explore global anxieties, how music becomes a weapon, and maybe even how the movie reflects some of our real-world political fears. Buckle up.
What's fascinating to me is that the movie builds upon years of stories
Yeah.
from other Marvel movies and shows. In fact, it even brings back characters and plot points from The Incredible Hulk.
Wow.
From way back in 2008.
Yeah, I bet some listeners totally forgotten about that one.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool how they weave these stories together.
Yeah.
But one thing is crystal clear.
Okay.
This isn't Steve Rogers' Captain America anymore.
Nope.
It's Sam Wilson stepping up to the plate after The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Exactly. It raises the question, what does Captain America even mean now?
Hmm?
The old guard is gone, and the world is a completely different place.
Yeah.
The film really grapples with that idea.
Uh-huh.
Can these old symbols of hope still resonate in a world that's increasingly cynical and divided?
Right. And that whole idea of a divided world plays out in the movie with this new super metal adamantium. Comic fans know it's the stuff Wolverine's claws are made of, practically indestructible. In the movie, it's discovered on an island created by Celestials.
Okay.
You know those giant space gods from the Eternals movie?
I do.
It's a limited resource, and everyone wants a piece of it.
And just like in the real world, this limited resource becomes a source of conflict.
Right.
Countries start making deals,
Yeah.
stockpiling weapons, and the tension just keeps ratcheting up. The movie really plays with this fear of an arms race.
Yeah.
And it's especially potent considering some of the things happening in our world right now.
Yeah, it gets pretty real.
For sure.
And then there's Thaddeus Ross,
Oh, yeah.
the guy who was always trying to control the Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's president now.
Oh, wow.
And he ends up becoming the Red Hulk.
And this transformation isn't just for spectacle. It's rooted in Ross's character, his history, and his own personal struggles. There's a tragedy to it.
Okay.
This idea of becoming the very thing you've always fought against.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how power can corrupt, even with the best intentions.
And the movie was originally going to be called New World Order.
Oh, really?
That title's pretty loaded, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe they changed it to avoid being too directly tied to any specific political ideology.
It's interesting to consider, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted the themes to resonate more broadly without viewers getting caught up in the labels.
Okay, are you ready for the creepy part?
Always.
There's a song in the movie,
Okay.
a seemingly innocent old tune called Mr. Blue, and it's being used to control people's minds. How crazy is that?
It's chilling, right? It plays on our fears about subliminal messaging and the ways media can be used to manipulate us. Think about how targeted ads already shape our online experiences, nudging us in certain directions. This film just takes it to a terrifying extreme.
It's like weaponized nostalgia.
Yeah.
Taking something familiar and comforting,
Right.
something people associate with good memories, and twisting it into this tool for control.
Wow.
It makes you think twice about those catchy tunes stuck in your head, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And it makes you wonder what else might be influencing us without our even realizing it.
Okay, that's a perfect spot to pause for a second.
Right?
We'll be back in part 2 to explore even more of this mind control aspect.
Okay.
How Sam Wilson handles being Captain America. And what those critical reviews really said about the film's message.
Looking forward to it.
See you soon.
See ya.
Welcome back. We're deep diving into Captain America, Brave New World.
Yeah.
And last time we left off on a pretty creepy note, a song being used for mind control.
Right.
But before we get back to that,
Okay.
there's another layer to this whole adamantium situation
Yeah.
that's worth unpacking.
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about it causing global tensions, like a real-world arms race?
Right.
Well, the film actually uses the fictional nation of Japan to represent these anxieties.
Which is really interesting because you don't always see
Right.
fictional countries used to represent real-world issues in these kinds of movies.
Right. And it highlights the complexity of the situation. It's not as simple as good guys versus bad guys. These are countries trying to protect their interests, to secure their future.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in a world with superheroes, diplomacy and international cooperation are still crucial.
But in the middle of all this global chaos,
you've
got Sam Wilson, who's still relatively new to be Captain America.
Right.
And he doesn't have the super soldier serum like Steve Rogers did.
Exactly. He's relying on his skill, his wings, and his own sense of what's right. And that's what makes his journey so compelling. He's not just inheriting a mantle. He's actively shaping what Captain America means for a new generation.
Right.
He's asking himself, what does it mean to be a symbol of hope in a world where the answers aren't so clear-cut?
And it's not like he's figuring it all out on his own.
Right.
He's got Isaiah Bradley, another super soldier with a pretty tragic past, who's helping him train. And of course, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, is there to lend a hand. Or a metal arm, as the case may be.
That support system is crucial, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It underscores the idea that even heroes need people they can rely on, especially when dealing with the pressures of leadership.
It's true. And speaking of pressure,
Okay.
we'd circle back to President Ross and his transformation into the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I know some people might think it's just a cool visual, but it seems like there's so much more to it than that.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, in the comics, Red Hulk has a totally different backstory.
Okay.
But here, it's directly tied to Ross's hook from the previous movies.
Yeah.
He's always been obsessed with control, with power. And this transformation is almost like a physical manifestation of that inner turmoil.
There's a real tragedy to it, isn't there?
Totally.
He's becoming the very thing he dedicated his life to fighting.
Exactly. And it's all fueled by his own fear and desperation. He's made some questionable deals to gain this power. And now he's paying the price, both physically and emotionally.
Wow.
And that fight scene between Red Hulk and Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a mindless brawl. It's a visual representation of that internal conflict.
Okay.
You've got Ross representing this unchecked rage.
Right.
And Sam trying to appeal to the humanity that's still buried somewhere within that monster.
It's heavy stuff for a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes these films resonate with us.
Yeah.
They're not just about explosions and superpowers. They're about these universal struggles with power, responsibility, and doing what's right even when it's hard.
Right. And they show us that even when it seems like everything is falling apart, there's still hope, there's still a chance for redemption, for finding common ground, for building a better future.
Speaking of finding hope.
Okay.
Remember Joaquin Torres,
Yeah.
Sam's friend, who was helping him out as the new Falcon.
Right.
But things get pretty intense for him. During one of the big action sequences.
Yeah, it's a tough moment. He gets seriously injured.
Oh, wow.
Which is a stark reminder of the risks these heroes take.
Right.
It also plays into this theme of mentorship, of passing the torch to a new generation, which we see happening with Sam and Isaiah Bradley as well.
It's a lot to process, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the movie does end on a somewhat hopeful note.
Okay.
The Adamantium Treaty gets ratified,
Wow.
preventing further conflict. President Ross resigns.
Really?
And takes responsibility for his actions.
Good for him.
And Isaiah Bradley, who was denied recognition for his service for so long, finally gets the acknowledgement he deserves.
It's a powerful message about accountability, healing, and progress.
Yeah.
It suggests that even in a world filled with complex challenges, there's always a possibility for positive change.
Of course, no Marvel movie would be complete without a little tease for what's to come.
Of course not.
In the post-credit scene, we see Samuel Stearns.
Oh, yeah.
The villain who orchestrated a lot of the chaos in this film, warning Sam about a threat coming from other worlds.
Ominous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like Captain America's work is far from over.
Not by a long shot. But before we jump to whatever intergalactic threat is on the horizon, we have to dive back into the mind control aspect of this film. And that creepy song, Mr. Blue.
Okay.
Ready to explore that a little further?
Absolutely. It's one of the most fascinating and unsettling elements of the movie.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Captain America. Brave New World?
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But there's one element we need to circle back to.
Okay.
The whole Mr. Blue situation.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a song being used for mind control.
Right.
That's some seriously creepy stuff.
It really is, and it's such a clever way to tap into our anxieties about hidden manipulation.
Yeah.
We all know how powerful music can be, how it can evoke memories and emotions.
Right.
But Brave New World takes it a step further and shows us how music can be weaponized.
Wow.
How it can be used to bypass our conscious minds and influence our actions.
What I found interesting is that the movie never really explains how the technology works. It's just this mysterious device that Samuel Stearns created.
Right.
And it just works.
It does.
It adds to the creepiness factor, don't you think?
Absolutely. That lack of explanation makes it all the more unsettling.
Yeah.
It plays on our fear of the unknown, this idea that we could be controlled without even realizing it.
Uh-huh.
It's like a modern-day urban legend whispering in the back of our minds.
And the fact that Mr. Blue is an old song,
Right,
something many people would associate with happy memories,
yeah,
makes it even more disturbing.
definitely.
It's like taking something beautiful and innocent and twisting it into something sinister.
Right, it's a subversion of something familiar and comforting.
Yeah.
And it forces us to question whether anything is truly safe from corruption, even our cherished memories.
So what do you think the filmmakers were trying to convey with this whole Mr. Blue element? What's the takeaway for us, the viewers?
I think it serves as a cautionary tale about the power of media
Okay.
and the influence it can have on our thoughts and behavior. We live in a world saturated with information,
Yeah.
with messages constantly vying for our attention.
Uh-huh.
This film encourages us to be more aware to question what we consume and how it might be affecting us.
It's like a wake-up call to be more critical, more discerning,
Exactly.
not to just passively accept everything we see and hear.
To be mindful of the ways in which we can be manipulated,
Right.
whether it's through advertising propaganda or even something as seemingly harmless as a catchy tune.
Well, that's certainly a thought-provoking note to end on.
It is.
We've explored international tensions,
We
the
have.
president turning into a Hulk,
Uh-huh.
mind control, and the legacy of Captain America.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has, and I think Brave New World uses these fantastical elements to explore very real anxieties about our world,
I agree.
anxieties about power control and the future of humanity.
It's a movie that definitely stays with you long after the credits roll.
It does, so if you haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking it out.
Do it.
But be warned,
Okay.
you might never listen to Mr. Blue the same way again.
That's the power of a good story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It challenges on assumptions, expands our perspectives, and leaves us with more questions than answers.
And that's what the deep dive is all about.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Captain America, Brave New World.
Of course.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
See ya.